Shock times 5.
Big shock.
Big shock.
Big shot. Okay, so 2-0 WE?
Yes, 2-0.
Okay, 2-0. I also appreciate the way that the Dan coach has his headset. Does not mess up his hair, so I appreciate you. If you ever hear this broadcast, 10 out of 10. Let's get into Champion Select. So, Talia and Varus towards Dan Gaming, while Elise and Zach, we actually saw that last series. That was the two jungle bans coming in from the red side. In from Dan, so
yeah, these are the number 2 priority junglers as it stands currently on Summoner's Rift, or very rarely on Summoner's Rift as they're always banned. So Zac number 1, Elise number 2. You look past those champions when Elise is gone, and Lee Sin usually crops up as the 3rd most potent that is always going to be available. So we'll have to see how it pans out in jungle.
LeBlanc and Kog'Maw also taken away, but that leaves up Galio, so it seems like almost a no-brainer pickup for WE. We'll give that to top lane or mid lane. Now over to Dan for their first 2 picks. Let's see if they maybe prioritize jungle here. I mean, Lee Sin is still up for them if they want it.
You would definitely assume that TA is going to be the one playing the Galio into the middle lane as well. 957, very good mage player, so it is possible, but most often seen in the mid lane as we wait for a pick from Dan. Of course, the Shen is the least likely of what we have seen of a hover.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's going to be
But it's locked in anyway. All right, gotcha. So that might all maybe draw the Galio pick up to top lane. We'll see as the pick and bans will continue. So going to be the Ashe, which Dan was hovering just before. So both those picks locked in. Chuchu's going to get his hands on that one. Back to WE.
And now I don't want to speculate anything too crazy with a Shen locked in just yet, but you have to assume it's top lane. I have seen Shens exist in the support role. If it comes to it, Cat's a bit of a crazy cat.
He is. Could go anywhere.
They still leave open bigger priorities as well. Thresh, a very often banned champion alongside the Galio. I like that they've prioritized the Kog'Maw ban. Like, note that these characters will still be there to pick, but they go for the Shen first instead of picking something like the Thresh, which is high priority.
It's true. Right now, we've got WE flicking through different AD carry pickups, and it's going to be Kalista in the end. I'm pretty much hyped to see Mystic on any of those picks they look through. Ezreal, Caitlyn, Kalista, all hyped for Mystic. So it's going to be the Shadow Isles bot lane. Meanwhile, Dan Gaming taking a look at the potential support pick. We don't know what it's going to be just yet. Maybe it's even a second rotation for Cat.
I mean, at any point in a draft, usually you'd look at someone hovering things and be like,
let's go.
You know, it's not going to happen. It's just a hover. But 2 times now?
Yep,
in this
times.
draft, they've hovered a champion. You're like, you know what? I feel like Dan would lock it just because Dan.
All right, hold up, Rusty. Is this the only other player we've seen in the LPL pick up Leona outside of Ming?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if anyone globally besides Ming plays Leona.
Maybe 1 or 2, but I'd struggle to think about it because Ming was like pretty much the only support player picking up Leona, and Cat's saying, "I'm in the LPL now. This is my pick."
At least not as consistently as Min has. Yeah, he's just a fantastic player. The Leona itself now, they've got an Ashe Leona bottom lane. They've got a Shen. So in case you guys haven't put 2 and 2 together, I think they're ganking bottom a lot.
Really?
I think that's where the danger is for WE. But, I mean, it's a Kalista Thresh already. Very hard to gank.
Yes, it is. Kassadin and Lee Sin taken away from WE. Meanwhile, Jace removed from Lines and Goong's champion pool. More specifically Goong, because the Shen is almost certainly top lane now. And WE for their final ban. It's going to be Cassiopeia. All right, so mid lane pool hit multiple times. We're looking for a jungle pick and a mid lane pick.
Something
for Dan
like
now.
The Orianna is always going to be an easy option for mid lane for Dan, perhaps. And if you wanted to go full down the unlimited potential route of the 2015 LPL team that got relegated, maybe a Twisted Fate would do them some wonders. Just run the global as you could possibly make it composition. But unfortunately, it's a Graves, not a Rek'Sai, so that's going to be incomplete.
Mr. Worldwide setup. It's going to be Graves actually into the jungle, as you just mentioned there for Karen. And WE, they have not too many junglers to choose from now. It will be Kha'Zix in the end there from Konzi. Just saw that one in from Clearlove, and that was quite spectacular. So that will be brought in from WE. Final pick, we are looking for a mid or top laner.
I'd expect a top laner. Something like the Kled is still a possible pick, but Rumble definitely suffices from what we've seen so far of top laners in the LPL. Rumble crops up as one of the top 3, perhaps, that you'll often see picked.
Go on. I mean, Dan are harboring it, and of all the teams, you just said it, they've already just like randomly locked in 2 picks. So it's Ari in the end. That's still hype, and I'll go to the mid lane for Goong. But I would not put it past them to pick up a Lux.
If we're going the route of light, we already had a Leona, so Lux could have made a bit more sense with all of the lights going on around that champion. But Ari,
the enemy team,
much more of an assassin, kind of picked in that middle lane. High mobility, very good at having a Shen go on top of her as well. If there's a charm that engages, they can follow it up with the rest of the stuns there. Most importantly, Ari wants to hit the charm now. It's been buffed with the AP ratios whilst the rest of her goes down, especially in the coming patch. And so Charm's the most important spell in her entire kit. You've got an Ash Arrow first, you've got a Shenton first, or a Leona stun first. Pretty easy to hit now.
I cannot wait for level 6 for Dan Gaming. Literally all their ultimates are crazy impactful. It's just going to unlock mid lane, top lane is going to be going down to the bottom lane, there's going to be engages happening. Even at level 3 there's potential for fights to happen. And Dan just won a brawl, and let's be honest, like up against a team like WE, who is the quintessential turtle, who has definitely grown some fangs in the last couple of weeks, indeed in International. They are a team you kind of want to go more hard and fast against instead of waiting till the 35-minute mark where WE just slow you down and whittle away your morale and how much energy you have. So just go at them hard and see what happens.
And I am by no means going to disagree with that statement. However, what I will say is that WE, you alluded to this already, have grown those fangs, and you go hard and fast against them. If Condi gets 1 kill when you're going hard and fast against Team WE, you stop going hard and fast immediately. It's super risky because then he'll hard carry a game. So it's a dangerous position that you find yourself in if you're Dan. Needing to be that aggressive team, picking something that I don't want to call a pick composition. I want to just call it an engaged composition. They do have the global threats of the Shen. The Ash Arrow is always going to be available, and it is definitely, with the completed composition, going to be the bottom lane, at least used as a pivot point they want to work around.
How do you think WE is going to play this game? Is it going to be the slow, lumbering turtle? Is it going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle? How hard are we going here?
I think it starts with one and builds into the other. You've got a lot of level 6 reliance from Team WE, right? They've got the Rumble, they want to get the zone control out with the Galio. So whilst we're excited, Dan, they definitely want level 6. They want to engage. I think Team WE is happy with that. We'll meet them in the middle on the battlefield, and then we find out who 5v5 is the best.
Heck yeah. All right, let's get into this game. Dan taking on Team WE. And what a week wouldn't it be for Dan to take a 2-0 week against the top 2 teams as speculated in this group? Wouldn't that be insane?
It's not David and Goliath anymore, according to Raz. It's Goliath's father. It was meant to be bigger than Goliath. So we're going to have to see how David goes against that one. We need a bigger slingshot.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Let's see what they have up their sleeve. Waiting for level 6 for certain, but who knows what's going to happen in the early game.
Like a 90-kilogram boulder.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, I wonder how tall Goliath's dad is.
Hopefully he's 300 meters away either way.
Yeah. Either way. Let's see what Mystic and Ben looking for here. Into this bot lane. It will be the Raptor start actually from Condi.
Yeah, he's going to be starting on the bottom side. He's not getting a red buff leash, though, from the Callista and the Thresh, which is quite often seen from the Kha'Zixes when they're actually doing the Raptor start. And this is why, again, a lot of lane pressure is always going to be a factor when you're against a Leona Ashe, but when you are the Thresh to win this lane, very crucial that you do so.
For sure. Just catch this early laning phase from them.
One other compensatory factor as well is the exhaust from Ben. It's an ignite from Cat on the Leona, but the exhaust to me signals that they just don't want to die. And so starting with the lane pressure, it kind of exacerbates that further.
True. Condi also taking the spook buff outside of range of that ward, but they know he's taking it anyway. They saw him go towards it, and he's just been pinged out by Dan Gaming. Also, the fact that Thresh was picked into the Leona here, it's actually a really hard matchup for Leona because you can just get knocked back by the Flay as she goes in with the Zenith Blade.
Historically, has always been a soft counter to the Leona pick because you can Flay the E, but it also means that you're going to have to position yourself on top of your AD carry. So whilst it is a soft counter, at level 6 you get 2 stuns for the price of 1 if you are doing that. And that's where the difference might actually come in here. You'll watch the Callista even stand further back than the Thresh, because Thresh can Flay, and if Leona ults, so can Callista to keep your Thresh alive. That's why this 2v2 is actually just really hard to beat.
Meanwhile, in the top lane, it's going to be Lies taking on 957 on this Rumble. And Lies actually went for the Duran Shield here. Historically, we've actually seen like triple reju feed into that matchup, but the fact that Duran Shield now exists, and it's just a pretty nutty item, is now the go-to matchup.
Pretty much just Doran Shield everywhere you go, running around the Rift. Snake tried their best to innovate and have it in pretty much every position. Wasn't proven to work, but has been proven to be a strong item in its own right.
Anything in excess is always going to be a bad thing, but just the right amount is good for you.
The old Black Cleaver meta. May it forever stay in the bin.
The Warmog meta was one of my personal favorites, where no one died ever.
It was not the best. Not the best. As a top laner, I'm sure you felt
Yeah,
good
I
about
loved it. It was great. It was the best.
We've also seen Karen keep a very tight-knit vision on Condi. He's seen him at the blue buff, immediately went over, warded the red buff, didn't fight him, but saw him doing it. So they know exactly where Condi is at all times. And you can watch how Karen starts to work around the map. The CS difference between these junglers is actually indicative of that fact. He has not been farming as much as he has been trying to find his opponent. But preventing those ganks seems to be working out for him, all right? As he's top lane, and he's
spotted.
No longer in.
Yeah, no, he's going to pull out from this one. It's pretty obvious that there was a ward there, since 957 just literally ran away from the minions as fast as possible. But last time we saw Karen as well, he was really definitely a more competent jungler from what we've seen, and he is flanked by some pretty strong players. I'm definitely looking at the likes of Cat in the bottom lane, who is a quirky player, but by no means bad at all. He makes some massive plays for him.
Good hook.
Yep, good hook, but it's going to be the counter engage. There's the play once more from Ben. It's going to be a bit of trade back and forth, but the Eclipse will mitigate some of that damage there for Cat.
Yeah, the flay was nice from Ben, but it doesn't actually take him out of stun range. So the trade still wins for the Leona as far as I'm concerned. Remember, the Ignite in the bottom lane means that if they even have a 10% health advantage here, Leona wins it.
Oh, Cat's just going in again, and Ben was not ready for that one as Choo Choo continues with the damage. The hook lands back onto Leona, but she's just not taking damage at this stage as the heal comes down. Karen has been spotted in the jungle, and why is Connie there? The flash comes in from Karen. And the kill out, and the first blood from Condi.
Yeah, big from Condi. Confusing because we were watching the bottom lane so intently. Not sure how he got there, but what we do know is that he'd recalled. He was prepared, and he found Karen in the middle of a recall himself. So, WE, their jungler gets the kill. What did we say at the start of this one, Pulse? If Condi gets it, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Condi, of all the players, is probably the worst player to have those early kills on in the early game, because he will just sometimes win you a game. So a little bit annoying, honestly, from the side of Karen, because he was like, man, I've kept track of him. I know exactly what buffs he's on. I know his time is. I know he's gone back to base. And then as he's recalling, last couple seconds, turns the corner, and there's Condi.
The second you lose vision of the Kha'Zix because he's gone back to base, you no longer know where he is. And then he finds you.
Yep.
That's just the nature of Condi as a jungler, I suppose, as Karen still not behind. Just given over the first blood. I mean, he was recalling anyway, so let's call it a sped-up recall.
Yeah,
and now he's bottom.
Gonna give this one a shot, but Cat misses the Zenith blade. I think he was assuming Ben would not try and flay there. He would actually just look to back off, and he would just jump on top of him. So comes in with a predict, but it means that Karen no longer gets the gank to happen. Has to turn around and go for this crab instead.
The flay was going to be there either way, I believe, at the end of it, so I don't think it mattered too much. The idea was nice from Karen. It was going to be a free gank, at the very least some damage, but he was level 5, so the kill super unlikely, especially when your Leona and Ashe are also level 5. They can't commit with ultimates themselves, so WE, they're able to just walk it out. They're doing well in this bottom lane. I think everything subsided, considering the Ignite was used and the trade went equal.
Yep.
Pretty much going as you'd expect.
Yeah, that's fine. Karen just still farming with his drum. Has hit level 6 now, so is Condi.
The shark is waiting.
Along the 957. Oh, man. Oh, he doubled back for a second. He was just like, maybe if he's there, but that's a lot of distance opened up. Never mind. Condi just does too much damage. Takes out Karen in the jungle. Goong tries to assist. He's got his ultimate still, and he is holding onto it along with his flash, but Condi's going to get the kill and go for the red buff, and man, this is what happens. Condi gets a kill. He comes in for a second, finds another kill, takes the red buff. And suddenly, WE are just having one of those games.
The son of Baron gets a taste of blood, and it just does not subside. So they go for the red buff. 3 people strong, I might add. Galio was not necessary, but he was there just in case.
It's like a shark, isn't he? You know?
Yeah, and now they make Karen 0 and 2. They give so much control of the map to the laners of WE, but it's Condi that reaps all of these benefits, gets all of these advantages, because this is all before the level 6 composition of Dan really comes online. They haven't been able to use it yet.
You just feel for Karen, you know, he did all the right things. It was just the wrong place at the wrong time. This second one was a constructed thing from Condi. Top lane Lies is definitely getting the better of 957 in that trade, but as long as he just chills, Condi is out of control, so he's going to continue to pick up these kills and get these advantages. Bot lane, Mystic and Ben have been hurting a little, but once they resolve this mini wave, they'll be good to go. Karen
he avoided that vision.
Skirted the vision, so
they knew it was there. That was very well done from Dan, but I think he just spotted him.
Yeah. It was fast, maybe didn't spot him.
There was no pings. I have to assume that he wasn't spotted. No, okay, it's definitely spotted.
Yeah. Sad.
That was so good.
It was.
They let a good thing go to waste.
And
They've definitely spotted people for what it's worth. We're just more disappointed in him leaving after skirting vision. But Galio was bottom side. Kha'Zix is also news red buff. He would have been spotted with the Raptor ward. Understandable. Just sad.
Regardless, still just farming up in this mid lane. Looking for breakpoints. I mean, Goong is level 8, 226, and Cat waiting for his own level 6. Probably at that point where you start looking for those engages. Solar Flare, very important.
Very different blue buff timing as well here from the mid laners. I know Condi gave it over at least a minute ago to his respective opponent, where Goong is getting it right now. And this actually could change the pace of the mid lane. You can see it's pretty much gone. There's one more wave maybe in it for Xie. In about 3 waves time, there's a chance that Ahri starts to get lane control and then can start to work with Karen in the jungle, maybe try and help him get back into this game, because the current state of the game is all Condi.
Xie is making his way to this bot side. First Dragon's also Infernal, so teams will want to try and get control of this area.
Just be careful here, Lies. I know he's winning these trades, but if he keeps doing it whilst Condi's at Krugs, then he presents himself. If you ever taunt forwards, then you run the risk of actually dying.
Yeah, or at the very least burning a flash here. Yeah. Condi's going to back away, however. Doesn't want to waste any time, though he might go for the Herald. Ooh, okay. Yep, Karen knew that one was coming. Okay, over the wall from Ben.
And he is going for the Herald, you're right. Get the big buff for himself. Shen, one of the few champions that would be horrible at trying to deal with it. If he is by himself.
Good reactions from Mystic.
Leona still has one, that's the thing. They can do that 100% of the time. Throw an Ash Arrow, throw a Leona ultimate. If they flash, throw the other one if you want. Or wait for the Ash Arrow to come back and then throw both.
Yep. And that's almost a confirmed kill. As Condi solos the Herald. One of the beauties of getting the early jungle item is you can do that very easily.
Got through here. This is actually going to be a dive.
Still going for this engage. Cat comes in with the flash, the stun. Solar Flare comes down, but the hero's entrance should be able to allow them to survive. But it's also Elias coming in on top of that. But no one is dead yet from WE. This is going disastrously wrong. Goong needs to get this kill. Comes in with the ignite and finds it. It's a 1-for-2 so far, favor of WE. Meanwhile, Lies trying to make his way out, but you have to feel that he's going to get chased down by at least somebody as Xie. Just take the... Oh, he face plants. Ben, does he have flash?
Ben has flash and hook, but I don't think he wants to do it.
As Lies turns to corner, he's going to be lined up against it. He might go for it. Oh, good juke from Lies. He's going to put him in range of the taunt, but I think he might be out of here.
Yeah, Xie doesn't have his headbutt anymore. He can't justice punch anybody because he punched a giant rock. So the Galio has to kind of concede that kill. They're not going to find the Shen. We did still see a very well executed counter gank here from the Galio. The rest of WE, they're trying to zone away Choo-Choo and Karen, prevent the damage from getting on. They do exactly that for a substantial amount of time. If Goong didn't show up, Mystic actually would have lived and have been able to outplay it. But Goong throws himself into the party and has to sprint away. A lot of effort for the single kill of Dan.
Mystic just survived for so damn long in that fight. Cat was probably feeling pretty happy with himself. Connects the stun, connects the Solar Flare, gets the perfect combo, but no one could reach him. And especially with the damage reduction in from Xie, wasn't going to happen. After the dust has settled, now WE are about 2,000 gold ahead of Dan at this point in time. Plus Condi is massive, and Xie picked up both of those kills in the bottom lane. So he's sitting pretty on top of an Abyssal Scepter. And suddenly Dan kind of struggling in the solo game now.
And you know, we mentioned this before, but the Ashe ultimate burning the flash out of Mystic, Pretty unfortunate for Mystic because they can throw more things. Well, now the heal's also gone. So the heal and flash are gone. The exhaust is gone from Ben. And now that bottom lane just gets a little bit more juicy. If you're Dan, you really want to get down there. You want to get things going. And the avenue to do that is being blocked by a Team WE. They're not letting them.
Yeah, classic WE though. They play very airtight in their gameplay. Conti is waiting for him. Please don't go down, Karen. Oh, he's completely trapped though, but does dodge pretty much everything. Throwing the flash and the flame from Ben confirms that kill. Yarrow comes in and Cat wants blood. He's going in there with the volley out from Choo Choo's. Needs to catch up. Down goes Mystic, but following up the red carpet, Cat will slowly be burnt out, and Choo Choo's, with being completely isolated, makes an easy meal for Condi. And that would be a 3-for-1 trade over to WE.
Condi's just so big. He's going to completely blow everybody up. Ben gets charmed, still throws out the hook because you can buff with the animations. And WE, once they get the combo, all of the knockups on top of the red carpet from 957, very easy to get themselves the rest of that team fight. 4,000 gold difference. Drake's turrets, it's all happening at once for WE. Dan wanted it. WE wanted it more.
You have to just feel that it's one of those games, honestly, from WE where Condi gets the first 2 kills, and it's just skirmish after skirmish that just goes the way of WE. And it might just be a very quick game here as Dan needs to reconsider their options as they head through the rest of this best of 3 now. I do want to comment on the fact that Lies has picked up the adaptive helm in the top lane up against Rumble.
Yep.
I guess it's also because there's a Condi here, which will have the sustained damage in from Taste of Their Fear, but I do have to wonder how efficient it is versus a Spirit Visage at this point in time.
It's only efficient versus a champion like Rumble or Cassiopeia. The amount of efficiency isn't that great. I believe Freak did the maths on it.
Yeah,
he's
Spirit
posting
Visage
on Twitter about that one. Spirit Visage is absolutely better, as is Abyssal Scepter, honestly.
And Lies,
speaking of,
well, how's that adaptive helm going for you? Not too well. 957 will burn you out for another kill in the top lane. It went a little too deep.
Too many things to adapt to when you're that deep, unfortunately, Pulse. Yep. And at the same time, whilst they were somehow underneath the outer turret in the top lane, Mystic was freely hitting the bottom lane.
It's all just going wrong for WE, though I do have to applaud Dan. Even though they are 5,000 gold down, they are constantly making plays. They're just hitting their R buttons, going in, and seeing if anything sticks. I mean, Cat just is relentless. Goes into the mid lane, jumps onto Xie, doesn't even care that he's 2-0-3 and has an Abyssal Scepter. I'm going to jump on you anyway.
Well, if you're playing Leona in a losing game, you've got 2 ways to play it, and that's non-interactive or super interactive. He's obviously chosen to be the aggressor. Yeah. He wants to try and generate picks, make plays. They've got the team composition to do that. Honestly, that's the only way you get back into a losing game with the team comp you've got is use the comp, make the picks, get the big plays as they're going. Ooh. Oh, good flash.
That was actually crazy. Did he have... Oh, he had vision because Leona was hitting that, but it was just like, as soon as he went in for the auto attack, great auto reactions from 957.
A small thing there as well. It looked like Cat went to auto attack, cancelled the auto attack, and used his ultimate.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
But a similar animation between the auto and the ultimate is just using your hand. So actually may not have been that indicative, just a very good flash from 957.
I'm pretty sure Cat was trying to hide the animation there with the auto attack, so it was well played. And honestly, just from the, even though Dan are losing this game, they might be my new favorite team.
Well, you've lost game talent.
Yeah, exactly. I've lost GT, right? And GT, I love them. They went ham all the time. And Dan, when they're behind, they just go ham all the time. So you have another player in the form of Cat who's just entertaining to watch.
We've got Snake, Jing Dong, and now Dan Gaming. If you want teams that are aggressive when losing games, they'll lose fast.
Yeah.
That's those three.
Snake are very binary. They'll go for, if they're losing, go Baron, right?
But they still go for things. They go for the big play.
Things, remove the S from that one, and then you have a deal.
Okay, look, there was a Cogmore. They went for the Cogmore, so there was 2 things.
An S in brackets, can you settle on that? Either way, Dan, fun to watch as, was that the Cat just
placed
down another ward?
Control ward. Proper denied.
Remove 30 gold from the bank there from WE. But they are still very far off behind. About 5,000 gold at 17 minutes is nothing to be sniffed at. Plus an Infernal Dragon. And the next dragon is going to be another Infernal for WE while they have full control over this map. And all outer turrets down. Doesn't seem like there's much good on the horizon.
It's kind of odd, but it feels like WE have been setting up for the past 2 minutes for Baron. It's like 17 minutes in the game,
like
so obviously they're not, but that's just kind of how it feels. and they don't want to be bottom lane. It makes sense. They want to avoid that side of the map so that Dan can't even get vision control near the Drake before it spawns. There's still a while to go, but sometimes you just get leftover control wards that you can teleport to deep in places you don't want it. Mystic also wants to prioritize these top lane inner turrets, it feels like. He's got the Thresh with him, he's got Condi hovering, they've got Galio who will ult if it comes to it. He's actually in range for that right now, and the teleporting members are on the bottom side of the map. So both of these teams are set up accordingly. It's just that with the advantage WE has, and with the Galio specifically, they'll have the 5-man sooner, and their 5-man is a very good fighting comp.
That being said, WE, if they are out of position at any point in time, there will be a catalyzation from Dan. Choo-Choo's has gone for the Essence Reaver build, for example, so he's going to be shooting out arrows left and right, just seeing if anything sticks. So if anyone does get caught out, he just stole them.
Choo-Choo do this in a losing game. Goes for the Essence Reaver, doesn't go for the traditional Ashe build.
Yeah, he did that, yeah, in the last
series.
series. Which ends up winning, so maybe that is the secret sauce, the secret to success.
He was hitting a lot of arrows, I'll give him that. So far, though, feels like WE are coined onto that, and they're flashing them all. Haven't actually seen one connect yet. And
eventually you're going to run out of flashes.
I believe that is the game plan from Dan right now.
War of attrition. Why not? Karen is moving throughout his jungle. It's just trying to reclaim some of this vision in the top jungle right now. And as much as it just keeps looking like WE complete control of the top side of the map. Baron is spawning in 30 seconds.
Well, they'll have the Kha'Zix to solo the Infernal Drake in 40 seconds themselves. They don't necessarily need to put everyone down to that area. As long as it's cleared and there's no one contesting Condi, then he should be perfectly okay to go of his own accord. And so WE, they set up on the natural other side of the map. For what it's worth, when we saw Dan play against EDG, there was a lot of Baron focus from them. They were doing it early. They weren't hesitating. They didn't bait it. They just did it. And so it is better that WE are set up than not at all, especially around that side of the map.
Yeah, they know they're against a very impulsive team. 957 keeping up the push at the bottom. Here's the Andrews Torment at this point in time. And Sunfire Cave has been completed by Sheer, so he's sat on double items at this point in time. So he is quite strong.
He's gone for Sunfire Cape. He's gone for one of the more curious Galio builds that you've seen running around. The traditional one is more of the Frozen Heart type of build, or Iceborne Gauntlet into something else, but Frozen Heart started to become more and more popular as the patches have progressed. In saying that, what this build does is 10% additional magic damage on top of a magic damage burn item. So
does less damage against champions now.
Yeah.
So he will be murdering those minions.
He will absolutely obliterate them. That gives him a little bit extra in the way of wave clear, where Galio does start to taper off, does less and less to minions as the game progresses.
Yeah.
He'll still do just that little bit more, so maybe 10 minutes of extra wave clear is there, if it comes to it. We're 20 minutes into a game where they're smashing their opponents.
So. This allows you to continue one-shotting the backline, because it gets to that annoying point where Winds of War just leaves him on a little bit of HP. So,
and it lets you cue the back wave, auto-attack the melee minions, and Sunfire Cave the back ones for the rest of the damage.
Oh well. 62 gold in the bank there for Karen. He'll take that one to the bank. But it's still 8-2. We've had a little bit of less action in the last couple of minutes, but it's still complete control from WE. And as the dragon is spawning in the near future, I feel that WE are just going to continue this. They're not losing anything. They're still getting advantages. The gold difference is actually increased by 1,000. So WE are just getting more resources across the map.
Yeah, and with the Infernal Drake rather being available for them as well. Bit of extra combat stats. It looks like the next one's also going to be an Infernal, if it ever comes to that. WE well and truly on the front foot. They've got their control wards. They've got their big item spikes. They've got their level spikes. It's all starting to come together for them. And this could be the one moment now where they make the pick.
Kind of taking a lot of damage.
Someone wants to help him.
Yeah. Anybody at all. That'd be great, because 957 is just going to town on that Leona. 22 minutes into this game. And Dan still yet a single tower on the board for them.
And he didn't use his Equalizer, 957. Of course, the Leona has Flash, but Equalizer is worth Flash if you're not going to fight within the next minute or 2 minutes, depending on the cooldown. So it does mean that WE are making the play, and they're still making it.
Hook does not land on the Choo-Choos, but does burn his Flash. Good reactions on that one. But slowly just eking out resources away from Dan.
Just bait this again. Just sit here, use the red carpet the second cat gets close. Lies is doing well, but it's not going to compare. as they do actually start this.
Condi and Ben are just waiting around the wings. They know that Xie and Mystic, Xie's never going to take any damage, and Mystic's got the damage for it with the Blade of the Ruined King. Cat just dancing back and forth, and Connie slowing them down, takes the Dark Passage back to his ally.
Well, now they're in, so they know it's being done. The question is, how does WE react to this? Do they continue it? They've got a Callista, so they should win the
She's
smite
been on
battle.
it for so long here, Rusty, that the pop is probably around 1,000. Yeah, there it is. Solar Flare comes down, and Karen just blasted to the backside of this fight. Lights comes in with the TP onto Cat, but there's no one behind him. Here is entrance, and the red carpet comes down. And it's not a walk that Lies particularly wants to take, as Mystic just comes in with so much damage off the back of that Rend. And everyone from Dan getting chased out here.
I mean, that's just way too clinical from WE. They get the Ari ultimate, the Ashes flash, and then they just do the Baron. But they don't just do it. They send the Callista to start stacking up those spears with a Galio to tank. They continue to pretend they're baiting, and then they go in, they commit to it. 957 didn't even need to use his equalizer until the very end, and it was an afterthought because honestly, WE, complete control, no chance of slowing down, no possibility for Dan to react. That's just all too easy.
Honestly, Rusty, this has been a near-perfect game from them. They've dropped 2 kills, a tower, and that's it. It's 24 minutes into this game. They have a Baron. Dragon's coming up. Take a look at that one more time. But, oh, the flash came in from Xie. Didn't see that last time around. And Condi just obliterated him.
He taunted him. He flashed over the wall to continue to crowd control him and prevent him from getting into the pit. But ultimately, even if Karen got in, I don't think he would have been able to outsmite Mystic, who rendered it, I think, at like 1,200, 1,300. Like a number far greater than a smite could ever be. And so realistically, it was optimizing on something that may not have been necessary, but still very good to see from them because it's important in every other game.
10-2, with Dragon spawning in minute 30. Got another engage coming in from Cat. And follows up the ultimate, but
what are you going to do now, Cat?
Has been picked up by Mystic. And if that hook had landed, someone else was going to die for certain. But Dan does lose Cat in that one. But
what are you doing, Goon?
I don't really know, but Connie is taking a lot of damage, but he does have the extra help coming in! Takes the fear! Oh, collateral damage from downtown. Karen will find that one.
Goon's having a good clap. Good clap down the bottom. We got him.
2-2s as well.
Gods can bleed. Is what
I love
They're
this team.
actually clapping.
This team is great. They're getting completely destroyed in this game, but they're still having a good time.
There's no other way to play it at this stage. It's just digressed, like, it's gotten so bad so quickly that you have to take your one kill.
Yeah.
A Cat just tries his hardest, basically suicides for nothing. Goog stands and is caught by a sweeper, doesn't matter.
It just feels good, man, because Dan is a team that they don't have a lot of expectations on them, like a team like Snake. So when they drop games like this, or it looks so bad for them, they can just chill out. It's like it's one of those things. If they make the playoff run, great. But if they drop teams against the best team in their group, then whatever, man. We can take wins against everyone else. We've already proven it against EDG.
This is a team that beat SKT in the group stage at MSI. If Dan Gaming beat WE.
They're better than SKT.
Oh, confirmed, 100%. But no, not at all.
That works, right?
Just means that they're a really good team suddenly, and we didn't actually expect them to against WE here. So it is good, you're right, that they are having fun in this situation, trying to maybe learn something or get the most out of it. But there's really no way into this game for them. They do have to look at the next one, and so clapping themselves for 1 kill, perfectly fine, almost expected.
Yeah. It's still their first split as well. So Dan have a lot of room to grow, a lot of time. Probably looking towards next year as well, but still have looked very strong.
Here we go. There we go.
Got him.
Here we go again.
Up, got him again. And Xie probably going to murder them all now.
He'll take the 1v5,
by himself.
He doesn't care.
Yeah. He'd probably last for a good 15 seconds against all of these players. Takes the charm on the chin. And yeah, we'll pretty much just keep up the push in top lane.
Yeah, so there goes the Leona engage, the Ashe engage, and Xie kind of looks at them, grins, and starts running towards them aggressively because he knows that it didn't actually do anything to him. 2 inhibitors gone, 1 left standing, and we believe we are Fnatic, as that is the only way to win.
I mean, why not at this point in time? Perhaps Ben goes into the mid lane, tries to ward, and Cat's right there as well, so we're coming for the claps. Oh, not Xie. Come on, anybody else but Xie. Catches Ben, but they just don't have the damage.
They're sitting in a bush waiting to pick someone off, and then WE walk over to be picked off, like, come and get me. And Dan is like, no, get out.
You send someone else, Connie, Mystic, even 957, anyone else, in fact, that'd be great. But W will just take top tower, and the last bastion of hope is about to fall.
You'd worry that Mystic with QSS still would have killed them. I would have probably still ran away.
My money would definitely be on Mystic in that point in time.
How'd you get here?
He's doing an SOFM. Don't worry about it. He saw it on. He saw a pro player do it, so it's okay. So all fair comes down. Doesn't get the stun on anyone on anybody though. And Xie gets a taunt onto. Oh, Cat didn't deserve that. He'll fall. 28 minutes in. It looks like it's about to be the game on horizon, but they can kill Xie. They'll try and pad the scoreline.
They can try.
Oh, big knock-up in from Ben. Fate's call was huge right there, and Choo-Choo's bites the dust and lies. You're not getting back to your spawn pad, buddy. You're going to have to burn your flash for that privilege. Everyone making it back to their spawn pad, and that's the Nexus going down. All too easy.
They just
WE
casually meander into the base of Dan Gaming and say, here is a Nexus I prepared earlier. And they just pull Dan out of the oven.
And that's just Raz back onto the Anastase. Casually meringuing back to the desk.
All right, meringue.
I love me some meringue. What's going on, Raz?
Doing well. Doing well. I just had to come up a lot earlier because that was... What was that? That was stomping. That was a stomping and a half. That was a stomping and a half.
Thinking of synonyms internally this week.
I just go straight for it. That was a stomp. That was a 20-minute blasting.
Booty blasting, man.
Elbow drop from the sky. Boom.
A rump roasting.
But it was a fun one.
It was.
And
I like to see Dan Gaming go for it. The Leona pick right then and there. You could see it coming. You're like, all right, Cat. Showing us some no fear involved. Goes right into WE, and he's going to go for the kills. But even when we saw the all-in engage in the bottom lane, the Observer was like, nah, actually, in the jungle, Karin getting blasted. And we've seen this before from Condi when he gets a small advantage, just a tiny one, a camp advantage. If he tracks you, he's not going to stop, especially when he knows where your next objective is. And so he knew, essentially, where Karin was going to move from that point forward, and so you just see the deaths stacking onto Karin. Now, Karin is a great jungler, but in that game, he was just contained.
And he went up against the best jungler in the league.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sometimes that's just going to happen to you. Regardless, WE just completely annihilated Dan Gaming right there. But still, it was to be expected. And we saw some fun out of the team anyway. We had Cat just going ham constantly. Essence Reaver build again coming in from Choo-Choo, just shooting out arrows left and right, seeing who can connect one. So it seems like this is the way that the series could end. But again, we have another early game to go, so maybe just Dan Gaming come out firing on all cylinders and maybe something else happens, but it just seems like there is a big divide between these two teams.
It very well could be, and I think this was a proper welcoming for Dan Gaming, essentially. We kind of expected this to happen a little bit more often in their first week because they had EDG on their schedule as well. But it is a good lesson to have simply because it has to, you get the tough games out of the way. Get the lessons, the bruisings out of the way because... Especially Karin, who as an exceptional jungler, I kind of mentioned it earlier on. I have a replay for this one simply because it showcases how Condi was able to teach him what he could really do. Now, this, of course, is the Baron situation. This is a play in which WE, massive advantage, 8-2, all that. They prepped this. They pushed into it. They have Kalista, so theoretically, they didn't need to do anything more than that. You see the flash, I guess, cut off for Graves, so he couldn't really do anything to take the Baron. Problem, couldn't use it, like he couldn't steal it at all anyways, right? So for me, looking at that play, that was an overkill. Like, he didn't have to flash and taunt. He really didn't have to. In fact, if Graves comes in, that's a plus for you. If Graves uses collateral damage, that's a plus for you. But that just showcases that WE is still taking that as a lesson because they won out in the entire play. But it's like, hey, you know what? It's good to play this as perfectly as possible for the next game. When there is a next game, if we get put in this 50-50, we at least know what to do. And it feels like that was like a practice session. That was legitimately a scrim for WE, that they were getting the most out of what felt like a throwaway game.
It definitely felt like a warm-up for WE, but you're absolutely right. I think that's a good example of them chasing perfection almost in a situation where their opponents were nowhere near the same level of performance as them in that one. So WE, very much commendable that they took it very seriously. And it feels like after one set already, the honeymoon phase for Dan is over because they're up against a very strong team of WE.
Yeah, and both of them gain something from it, right? If WE is just playing at that max level, it means that Dan learned something from playing against a better opponent, and at the same time, WE can experiment and use this time to look towards different type of plays, different type of compositions, and just, again, chasing perfection. I think that's the best line as you guys put it. Ben will take the MVP here. It's nice actually to see Ben have the spotlight shone on him for once, because he is often overshone by Mystic, who he is right next to, is a star AD carry. So nice to see Ben get the MVP.
Good vision control as well. If you look across the map, I guess the most obvious one that pops out to you is Condi, because Condi was able to get the early game lead and they just played around him. But they did so well at doing that as a team, and they constantly pushed into the jungle, constantly laid down wards. Ben knew exactly what to do, and we're seeing a lot more Zero come into the lineup as the weeks went on in the second. Like, we even saw him in MSI.
Yeah,
so
We did.
it's nice to see Ben still showcase stronger play with competition up behind him.
Yeah, it's always a question then of what does each support actually bring, whether it's like a mentality thing or do they have different picks and that actually change the roster in any way. Otherwise, you would stick for one or the other. Regardless, we can say that both supports are actually very good in their own right. Regardless, we are going to take a quick break while we set up for our next game. So don't go anywhere. We'll see what WE have in store for us next game.